Welcome to MyBookie. You're ready to create an account and start making money. And we're here to help. And remember, you can get a bonus of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Now you're ready to bet. Just go to mybookie.ag, visit the sportsbook, click on your bet, and input the amount you want to risk or win in the bet slip. Yes, it's that easy. Just remember, at MyBookie, you play, you win, you get paid.
It's Happy Thursday, everyone. Welcome to the Glenn Dynamic Sports Arena. I am your host, Glenn Kaplan, live from Baltimore, Maryland. Home of the Baltimore Orioles and the Baltimore 179 show. Only 21 more to go to 200. We're so far away. This, ladies and gentlemen, is super exciting today. You want to know why? There is nothing like playoff hockey. Did y'all watch that Tampa Bay Lightning New York Islanders game last night? I hope y'all having a good week otherwise. That game, I thought the Tampa Bay Lightning, when they went up 2-0, it was a good night to the New York Islanders season. The Islanders are toast and finished. But then, overtime magic. With just a minute 8 into the overtime session, Blake Coleman turns the puck over, lands onto Anthony Beauvillier's stick, scores it in the back of the net. He celebrates everything, and the whole Coliseum goes crazy. The Islanders win it in overtime 3-2. Anthony Beauvillier, even if the New York Islanders do not win this series, at least created one final memory at the Coliseum. Now, I made a joke on my Twitter beforehand that they were having a 5 p.m. Eastern time yesterday, that they were having this outdoor concert, get pictures with Sparky, the mascot, all this other fun stuff. I'm like, well, this is the farewell tour to Coliseum. On my Twitter, I was wrong. They're live for another day. But what did Anthony Beauvillier say after the game yesterday? And you're all about to love this on Thursdays. And before overtime started, it smelled like a bunch of this. It smelled like a bunch of cigars. Then you want to know what he said it smelled like after the game was over? Well, I'm just going to use this water bottle right here and pretend it's a bunch of beers. That's what it smelled like after overtime. But what he really meant to say, Anthony Beauvillier, was not that it was beers. It smelled like Truly drinks. That's what he meant to really say. It didn't smell like beers. It smelled like Truly drinks. Might want to have one myself right now on this show. And sorry to the all 12-ounce sports group, I'm saying it live on air. And no, I don't get too bleeping rips what y'all are thinking about it, because that's the way I completely roll on Thirsty Thursday. Don't even get me started on it. I just had to say it on today's live show. It was a perfect setup by Anthony Beauvillier for me to do this on today's show. So I would like to thank him very much for me to say something like that on this Thirsty Thursday. I mean, hey, come on. It's good feeling Thursday out on the island. Now it's not so much on the Tampa Bay Lightning. They probably wanted to drink a couple of those Trulies after they lost. But let me tell you most importantly what I'm about to show here for the Lightning faithful. What I'm wearing this morning, I don't think you can see it, is my 2017 Stanley Cup Championship t-shirt for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Now it's time for me to tell a little story to these Tampa Bay Lightning fans. Why they should not be worried about Game 7. When the Pittsburgh Penguins were going to quest in the back-to-back Stanley Cup titles in the Eastern Conference Finals in 2017, the Pittsburgh Penguins smoked the Ottawa Senators in Game 5 at home, 7-0. What did Tampa Bay do in Game 5? They smoked the New York Islanders 8-0. Game 6. Ottawa Senators gave it all they had, won at home ice 2-1. They forced the Game 7. What did the Islanders do here? They forced the Game 7 with a 3-2 win. Where was Game 7 played in that Pittsburgh series? At home for Pittsburgh, trying to defend its crown. Tampa Bay will be home for Game 7 defending its crown. And I'm going to get into the whole Nikita Kucherov injury later on in the show, but he is the RP on solid the Tampa Bay Lightning, because if he can't play Game 7, that's a big loss. Although they've been used to playing with them all year long. However, in Game 7, I'm not trying to ruin the Islanders' parade here. The truth of the matter is, here's how I view Game 7. And I would have loved to demonstrate this on this show this morning. I had two empty cups. I take 2 oranges. I feel like Game 7 is which team is going to squeeze the same ounce of orange that they get into the cup. Whichever team is going to squeeze that orange into its cup higher, I think will win Game 7. That's probably going to be the Tampa Bay Lightning, because I think they had a little extra juice in them, only because I think it took the Islanders everything it possibly had just to force this Game 7. So I think the Tampa Bay Lightning are going to win Game 7 4-2. I would not be surprised if the Islanders jumped out to an early lead, but the Tampa Bay Lightning will be resilient. I do not see the Lightning losing Game 7. But here we are once again. I am creating an underdog narrative for the New York Islanders, and I'm sure New York Islanders fans are like to me, yeah, go ahead, go write them off. They probably don't care. We're going to write our own story here. We're not done yet. That's what they're probably thinking this morning. But as they say, and everything, all good things come to an end. That's probably what's going to happen on Friday night. It'll be a good game. I do not think Game 7, I know people are saying they can't wait for it. Oh, probably good early. Probably good first 2 periods. Third period's going to feel like, yeah, Tampa Bay probably has that little extra orange juice in them than the New York Islanders. That's what Game 7's going to feel like. However, here is one thing that is not on the side of the Tampa Bay Lightning. The last 2 times the Tampa Bay Lightning have had a 3-2 series lead in the Eastern Conference Finals and lost Game 6. They did not win Game 7 either time. That was in 2016 against the Pittsburgh Penguins and in 2018 against the Washington Capitals led by Barry Trotz. I think Tampa Bay, as they say, the third time's the charm. This will be the charm. When you lose a Game 6 and win a Game 7, Tampa Bay is 12-0 following a loss in the postseason backdated to 2020. They're 12-0. I don't see them losing tomorrow. But I could be wrong. I said Tampa Bay in 6. We'll probably get it done in 7. Now let me get into my game recap over here. Brandon Port's 1602 mark. He scored in 9 consecutive games for Tampa Bay Lightning, assisted by Anthony Cirelli. Second period goes Tampa Bay Lightning, Anthony Cirelli, 12:36 mark, assisted by Andre Palat and Brayden Point. New York Islanders, Jordan Eberle, 14:22 mark, assisted by Matthew Barzal and Andy Green. Just quit. Throwback Thursday. One thing that flashback 2020 playoffs. Game 1. New York Islanders, Washington Capitals back in 2020, the Toronto, Ontario bubble. Islanders were lifeless against Washington Capitals, down 2-0. Matthew Barzal has a key assist to Jordan Eberle to get him jump-started, and they happen to win that game. And win the series. Not saying they're going to this time around, but we'll see. Third period goes New York Islanders, Scott Mayfield on a tremendous shot that Andrei Vasilevsky had no chance on at the 11:16 mark, assisted by Matthew Barzal and Adam Pelech. Matthew Barzal, the appearance of the New York Islanders, he finally got it going last night. He was not very good in game number 5. So, now, as I mentioned, the overtime winner by Anthony Beauvillier at the 108 mark into the overtime session, and his goal was unassisted off a turnover by Blake Coleman. Andrei Vasilevsky, 25 saves for the Tampa Bay Lightning, and Semyon Varlamov finished with 22 saves for the New York Islanders. Now let me get into my next NHL segment here. The Montreal Canadiens are 1 win away from going into their first Stanley Cup final since 1993. And that was the year they won it all against Los Angeles Kings in 5 games. Now I happen to be too keyboard Twitter happy yesterday when the Tampa Bay Lightning had a 2-0 lead. Now, pay attention to this pattern. I'm like, this is wonderful news for the Montreal Canadiens. Because every game that the Tampa Bay Lightning have won so far in the conference finals, that the Montreal Canadiens have won. Well, I just might have put the jinx on everything. In Game 5, 3-2. The Vegas Golden Knights went back to Marc-Andre Fleury after Robin Lehner won them Game 4, but they're probably going to go back to Robin Lehner tonight. And I am about to make a Charles Barkley guarantee on this show. Because the New York Islanders won Game 6, and they also won Games 1 and 4 just like Vegas, the Vegas Golden Knights will force a Game 7 guaranteed. Yes, you heard that right. The Vegas Golden Knights, I would like to congratulate the Vegas Golden Knights fans in advance that they're going to win tonight, guaranteed, and there will be a Game 7 Saturday night, hopefully guaranteed. That's where I think it's going. Sorry, Montreal Canadiens fans. Your Tampa Bay Lightning absolutely blew it last night for y'all. Because the Montreal Canadiens, if Vegas wins tonight, and they will win tonight, I'm going to say 3-2. And if Vegas wins tonight, the Montreal Canadiens will be big Tampa Bay Lightning fans for Game 7. And I'm sure if Vegas wins tonight, that they will be monstrous New York Islanders fans for Game 7. It's just the way the pattern of the conference finals is going. And I warned you the other day, Cody Jensen in the World Hockey Report, when you made that bet for the Vegas Golden Knights in Game 5, that I told you that the Montreal Canadiens were going to win Game 5. And a statistic that Jamie Hirsch of the NHL Network posted, she does a tremendous job, and so does the rest of the NHL Network crew, that the Montreal Canadiens are 10-0 this postseason when they have scored only 2 goals or more. That is astonishing, and that is how great Carey Price has been playing. And in some way, somehow, Montreal wins the entire thing. Then Carey Price will win the Conn Smythe Trophy Award. And according to an analytical statistic this morning, the Montreal Canadiens are the favorite some way, somehow, and I don't know why, to win the whole thing. Montreal's at 30.8%. Tampa's at 30.2%. The Islanders have a higher percentage, I believe, than the Vegas Golden Knights. This is so interesting. I just find this very fascinating that Montreal has the best odds to win the cup. And someone on Twitter is like, this is what the NHL gets for not using the rule book in the playoffs. Now I kind of understand that, but everyone just needs to be quiet. I wasn't thinking about the referees when I was watching Game 6 between the New York Islanders, Tampa Bay Lightning, or Game 5 between the Vegas Golden Knights and Montreal Canadiens. I wasn't thinking about that at all. I'm thinking about the players on the ice and how emotionally invested I am in watching these games. So this 4-1 win for Montreal in Game 5 over Vegas. What happened in these goals? First period goes to Perry Kotkaniemi. 8:45 mark, assisted by Josh Anderson and Paul Byron. That goal was scored by Kotkaniemi, was scored off a rebound. Second period goes Eric Staal, 6:32 mark. Assisted by Nick Suzuki, Tyler Toffoli. That was a beautiful goal by Staal and a pretty feed from Suzuki, who is trading away from the Vegas Golden Knights. And the Vegas Golden Knights never would have thought that Nick Suzuki would have haunted them in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Well, here we are. We're at this point in time, aren't we? Let's see. That was not the Max Pacioretty trade. It was a Max Domi trade, I believe it was. And when Tyler Toffoli, who was not re-signed by the Vancouver Canucks, their front office is probably smacking themselves. Upper management, Vancouver Canucks. And the Vancouver Canucks have just basically we stunk this year because we didn't re-sign him. And then, second period goal by Cole Caulfield on the power play goal. Assisted by Corey Perry, Nick Suzuki. 2 things. Cole Caulfield is a beast for Montreal. J.J. Watt, defensive end of the Arizona Cardinals, keeps lifting up his game. University of Wisconsin prodigy for hockey for Cole Caulfield. And J.J. Watt played football at the University of Wisconsin. And Cole Caulfield's just a star in the making. It's amazing how he was benched in a couple of games in the first round against Toronto Maple Leafs. And as for Corey Perry, I was watching the NHL Network yesterday, and supposedly he does not want to lead the Montreal Canadiens. So even when the expansion draft time comes, he doesn't want to go anywhere. Because I guess he loves playing for Montreal. And he tells the guys, hey, this is not easy. I've only won 1 Stanley Cup. That was back in 2007 against the Ottawa Senators in 5 games. But, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just saying that it is hard to win in this league, and Corey Perry said it. He lost in 6 games in the Stanley Cup Finals last year with the Dallas Stars against the Tampa Bay Lightning. So Perry's trying to teach these young guys, hey, listen, we know how hard it is to win in this league. Let's try and seize the moment now. And it won't be the end of the world if we don't win it all. I'm just warning you. And don't expect to automatically be back here next year if we don't win the whole thing. Easy. Just ask other people. You thought that some of these teams were going to be great. Pittsburgh Penguins, Washington Capitals, excuse me, Detroit Red Wings, Anaheim Ducks, Tampa Bay Lightning as any team that have won Stanley Cups before. It's not easy. And then Vegas Golden Knights, Max Pacioretty, 409 mark, assisted by Nicholas Waugh. Montreal Canadiens, Nick Suzuki, 1854 mark, empty net goal. Assisted by Tyler Toffoli, carry price, 26 saves, Montreal Canadiens. And Marc-Andre Fleury finished the game with 22 saves for the Vegas Golden Knights. So now let's get into the NBA over here, because I know there were some crazy NBA games going on. But before I do, get up to a $1,000 bonus with your first deposit. MyBookie.ag, promo 12-ounce sports, 12-ounce sports, quench your sports thirst. We are live on Glenn's Dynamic Sports Corner, 12-ounce sports, quench your sports thirst. As I always do on every show, thank you, Cody Jensen, JB Beck, Crazy Michael Corvallis. Now he'll be calling me in 23 minutes. He will be my special guest today on this show. I was just so overhyped that I forgot to say it earlier on my show. But ladies and gentlemen, if you want to see me roast his basically behind in the 15-minute segment when he calls me, be more than happy to tune in and listen to all the crazy nonsense that he has for me. Because at some point I will make some announcement that I will have along with this show, that I'll be live on Fridays with Michael Corvallis. It will be called it's going to be a new show. So, if you want to see Mike get roasted all the time, that's good. Because, I'm going to basically win every segment. And I was telling Mike the other day, I said, he's like to me, how about Zingo TV sent out to Mike about him getting roasted? Well, I told him on the group chat, I'm like, that's what happens when I actually have good takes. And that's what happens when Mike has mostly bad takes most of the time. So, just get ready for your popcorn. He is going to lose to everything that I'm about to say, right? And then right after me is Philly Pete. All the betting and gambling stuff that you want. You don't want to go anywhere. He's live after me from noon Eastern time, around 12 o'clock to 12:30 p.m. Eastern time. So you don't want to go anywhere and miss that. We call him Philly Pete, and Philly Pete's always the best in the business. Tyler Valdez, Lou Gamelin, and everybody else. And as I always do on every show, please follow us on our Facebook page, Twitter page, and Instagram pages. We are growing with viewers, followers, and listeners, and I always say on every show, every time I go on a Facebook page, we're getting more and more views. So more and more likes, sorry. But let's go in here. So the Atlanta Hawks won game number 1 in the Eastern Conference Finals, 160-113. Atlanta leads the series 1-0. I thought the Bucks were going to win last night. They should have won. But Trae Young is a superstar, and he has arrived in the NBA. 48 points, 50% shooting from the field, 7 rebounds, 11 assists, and 1 steal. Now, everyone wants to say Trae Young is better than Luka Doncic and the Dallas Mavericks. Let's calm down a little bit, and I'll explain why. It's not I'll be better than Luka, which I understand. But let's take a look at both of these rosters. Trae Young has at least a couple of shooters like Bogdan Bogdanovic and Kevin Huerter. He at least has a reliable center, Clint Capella, although he's got stone hands some of the times. You name me one player that Luka Doncic has like that. Zero, doesn't have it. If Luka Doncic had that same roster, and it's nothing to take away anything from Trae Young, and then I don't want to take away from his spotlight. But if Luka Doncic had that same roster, he'd be taking them at just as far. And it's not a knock on Trae Young. What I'm trying to knock on is that the role players that Luka Doncic doesn't have. Get what I'm saying? There's a difference. I'm not comparing Doncic versus Young. I'm comparing what Young has around him in order to succeed and get a little bit of help. He's getting a little bit. I'm not saying he's getting this big help. He's getting this. And it's enough. It's enough. What Doncic got is that. That's all he got. You mean like Kristaps Porzingis and Maxi Kleber, Josh Richardson, and Dorian Finney-Smith, Trey Burke, that needs a complete roster overhaul. It's funny because Doncic somehow got them to the number 5 seed in the West. If Doncic had that same roster as the Atlanta Hawks, they would have been a number 3 or number 2 seed. That is not a fiction, that is a fact. And remember, the Atlanta Hawks team was basically, they were dead in the water, basically. That's what they were. Until Nate McMillan came around, they couldn't do anything. Dallas Mavericks were still relevant. They were in the playoffs because of Doncic. I guess Young needed that coach. And the fact that the Indiana Pacers got rid of Nate McMillan is completely and utterly despicable. I still can't believe that the Atlanta Hawks were basically dead in the water. It's just the fact that this team doesn't quit and everyone wants to consider them dead in the water, but they're not. They're not. They're going to keep writing their own story like the underdog story. That's the way they are. Who is calling me at this moment? No, it's another potential spam call as I keep getting on this. And no, I guess that's not the Atlanta Hawks number because they keep Decima winning big games. That potential spam number happens to be the Philadelphia 76ers. Despite it being that was a 301 area code that I got, that's the DC area, I 100% believe. That's fraudulent, led by Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal. But that's another story for another day. John Collins, 23 points, 68.8% shooting from the field, 15 rebounds and 1 assist. Kevin Huerter, 13 points, 41.7% shooting from the field, 2 rebounds and 1 assist. Milwaukee Bucks stats. Giannis Antetokounmpo, 34 points, 56% shooting from the field, 12 rebounds, 9 assists, 2 blocks, and 2 steals. Jrue Holiday, 33 points, 56% shooting from the field, 4 rebounds, 10 assists, 1 block, and 2 steals. Chris Middleton disappeared when the pressure mounts the most. He only scored 15 points, shot 26.1% from the field, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and recorded 2 steals. Now let's get into the Game 2 recap for the Los Angeles Clippers and the Phoenix Suns. So, it was funny. I went to bed Tuesday night, and I went upstairs in my bedroom. I was just following the game through Twitter and Google and FanDuel and all that other stuff. And it said for a while that the score, when there was no time left in the Los Angeles Clippers, it was 103-102. So I thought the Clippers side of the series went, good night. I'm going to bed. Clippers side of the series at 1. So I go on my phone the next day. I'm like, the Suns won 104-103. I wonder when in the high seas happened. So did you see Stephen A. Smith's and Michael Wilbon's reaction to that game? That was basically the same. So let me take you through the key events in case you didn't see that game on Tuesday night. What exactly happened? So key number 1, the Clippers had a 103-102 lead. The ball, it was last touched by the Clippers, by Patrick Beverley. But then the replay said it was off of Devin Booker. So then what happened next? That Paul George went to the free throw line. Now he's usually an 85% free throw shooter, and he usually never misses. He missed both free throws. So then we're at 0.9 remaining in the game for the Phoenix Suns. An inbound pass for Jay Crowder. He lobs it to DeAndre Ayton as time expired, and you're allowed to go over the cylinder because it's a pass and not a shot, which is rather interesting. That's what Colin Cowherd of Fox Sports 1 to her was mentioning yesterday. So the Phoenix Suns lead the series 2-0 over the Los Angeles Clippers, and Chris Paul is expected back for Game 3. He is finally released from COVID-19 protocols after testing positive for the coronavirus, despite getting a coronavirus vaccination. And I'm just going to say this. That Chris Paul, this series could be a very well now over 4 or 5. This series is probably going to go the Suns' way unless Kawhi Leonard returns and the Clippers win tonight. Leonard has that knee issue. He does. But can I also tell you something about my opinions about Chris Paul and him getting the COVID vaccine already? That the fact that he had to sit these last couple of games is kind of ridiculous. I kind of know it's the protocols and all that, but he probably should have just played or whatever else. But I kind of understand what the NBA has to do at this time. So I guess I'm kind of not going to argue it. They made it this far. Let's just not be silly about it. So now let's get into the statistics for game number 2. So, Cameron Payne, out of all players for the Phoenix Suns, led them with 29 points. He shot 50% from the field. He also grabbed 1 rebound, recorded 9 assists, blocked 2 shots, and he also recorded 2 steals. DeAndre Ayton, he scored 24 points for the Phoenix Suns. He shot 80% from the field. Ayton also grabbed 14 rebounds, recorded 1 assist. He blocked 1 shot and recorded 1 steal. Devin Booker was kind of quiet in this game for the Phoenix Suns. He scored 20 points. Now, he's not going to line it up every single game, but that's okay. Shot only 31.3% from the field. This is a very rare off game for him. Booker also grabbed 4 rebounds, recorded 5 assists. Paul George led the Los Angeles Clippers, scoring once again with 26 points. He shot 43.5% from the field. George also grabbed 6 rebounds and recorded 6 assists. Reggie Jackson scored 19 points for the Los Angeles. He shot 46.7% from the field. Jackson also grabbed 5 rebounds, recorded 3 assists, blocked 1 shot, and recorded 2 steals. Ivica Zubac scored 14 points for the Clippers. He shot 80% from the field. Zubac also grabbed 11 rebounds, blocked 1 shot. The thing about the Los Angeles Clippers is that you never know who head coach Tyronn Lue is going to put in his rotation game in, game out. It's kind of tricky for those DFS guys, daily fantasy. It's hard because you don't know who's going in rotation from game to game. And it's not like they're it's postseason because I know he's going to utilize all 12 to 13 men on his roster. He doesn't use 14 or 15, but I guess it is what it is. Get a $1,000 bonus with your first deposit. MyBookie.ag. Promo 12-ounce sports. 12-ounce sports quench your sports thirst. We are live on Glenn's Dynamic Sports Corner. 12-ounce sports quench your sports thirst. 12-ounce sports quench your sports thirst. In about 10 minutes from now, Michael Corvallis, crazy. He will be calling me live onto the show. I'm going to give him an earful about anything and everything. If you want to hear a potential preview of our new show coming out to be decided in the time to be decided, you don't want to go anywhere. Because this guy is about to get schooled. Because remember, Michael Corvallis will never stand a chance against me in any of these debates and segments that I have. When he thinks he wins, he'll lose. And every time I think I lose, I win. Just the way I guess it's going to have to work. Right? So we'll see. You want to know what Michael Corvallis is like sometimes with his takes? He's like a broken clock. Right twice a day. That's what it's like. Broken clock's right twice a day. 12 o'clock midnight and 12 o'clock high noon. So those are the 2 times of the day. Now, Michael Gravales always seems to be right. So, now let me get into probably my final segment before Michael Gravales calls me today. I've had a lot of stuff on my takes, but let's get into my NBA draft lottery mock draft. So they announced the order on Tuesday night, and so now let me get through my mock draft. The number 1 pick goes to Detroit Pistons. They will select Cade Cunningham, point guard, shooting guard, Oklahoma State, the best player in this draft by far. Well, teams called Detroit, potentially, but Detroit basketball has not had a number 1 pick since 1970. So it's been a very long time since the Detroit Pistons have had a high of a pick like that. Number 2, Evan Mobley, center power forward USC. I know they have Christian Wood, but Mobley's probably the second best player in this draft. He could shoot the 3, he could dunk. He has a lot of Joel Embiid potential. Number 3 to the Cleveland Cavaliers, Jalen Suggs, point guard, shooting guard, Gonzaga. Probably means that I think Suggs can defend all 5 positions. He can take over a game. Remember the shot he hit against UCLA and was the best player in that NCAA championship game for Gonzaga against Baylor. Despite the losing effort, number 4 to Toronto Raptors. And that means they're going to trade Colin Sexton. Number 4, Toronto Raptors, Jalen Green, shooting guard, G League Ignite. They also moved up. Toronto Raptors, you got a backcourt for Van Vliet, Malachi Flynn, add Jalen Green in the mix. And the backcourt, Jalen Green in the mix is okay. Number 5, Orlando Magic, Jonathan Kuminga, small forward, G League Ignite. Number 6, Oklahoma City Thunder, Scotty Barnes, small forward, Florida State. They could basically play with the picks here. They have a ton of first-round picks in the future, but they also want to get it right. Probably want to get the rebuild done sooner rather than later. Number 7, the Golden State Warriors from the Minnesota Timberwolves and D'Angelo Russell trade, Davion Mitchell, shooting guard, Baylor. Because we don't know how Klay Thompson's injury is going to be. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to commercial break. I'll be right back.
Welcome to MyBookie. You're ready to create an account and start making money. And we're here to help. And remember, you can get a bonus of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Now you're ready to bet. Just go to mybookie.ag, visit the sportsbook, click on your bet, and input the amount you want to risk or win in the bet slip. Yes, it's that easy. Just remember, at MyBookie, you play, you win, you get paid.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So, let me continue with my mock draft let's get through picks 8 through 14 quickly here. Number 8, to the Orlando Magic from the Chicago Bulls in the Nikola Vucevic trade. Scotty Barnes, shooting guard, Tennessee. It's kind of different names here. No relation whatsoever. Number 9 in the Sacramento Kings. Moses Moody, small forward, shooting guard, Arkansas. Now, a very good pick for Sacramento to probably lose a couple of shooters, maybe lose Buddy Hield in the trade, so you can replace his scoring with Moses Moody. Number 10, New Orleans Pelicans, James Book Knight, shooting guard, UConn. They need a shooting guard. Eric Bledsoe's not the answer. Number 11, Charlotte Hornets, Kai Jones, power forward and center from Texas. Something about Texas. They always get bigs for some odd reason, and I don't know why that's the case. Mo Bamba, Miles Turner, Jared Allen. They're always, I don't know what it is. It always is like a center factory over there. And you got to upgrade because not Mo Bamba, excuse me, but Cody Zeller and Bismack Biyombo are not the answer at center for Charlotte. And I know they're looking to move off of Gordon Hayward. Number 12 to the San Antonio Spurs, Franz Wagner, small forward, Michigan. You got guards, you need a forward to continue building for the future for San Antonio. Number 13 to the Indiana Pacers, Josh Giddey, point guard, wing from Adelaide, Australia. Number 14 to the Golden State Warriors, Corey Kispert, small forward, Gonzaga. Now, Golden State has 2 first-round lottery picks. Are they willing to trade either both or one of them for another perennial star to try and win now? So that is a team that is looking to potentially make a move. So I'm curious to see how this goes. I don't have enough time for draft day trade ideas. Let me quickly get into my MLB substance issues. Rob Manfred basically needs to be launched off a catapult on Coors Field All-Star Game weekend. The MLB All-Star uniforms look terrible. Washington Nationals starting pitcher Max Scherzer got checked. So did Oakland Athletics pitcher Sergio Romo for this stuff. It's ridiculous. And Joe Girardi in Philadelphia about it the other day with Max Scherzer, and Max Scherzer basically joked yesterday, said, go check Bryce Harper's hair, former team at Washington Nationals. And the thing is funny, but it's also not funny. So moving on for this whole Washington Nationals MLB nonsense. So, Michael Gervais is about to call me any minute. He's my today's guest. He's the second time I'm having him on the show. So, it's the Mike and Glenn Sports War. So it's going to be something special. And simply, you're about to get a taste and preview about what is really going to happen. This guy thinks he knows it all better than I do, when in reality, that is simply not the case. This guy is a clown, and he should be calling me any minute. Maybe he's too chicken nonsense to call me today. You probably forgot to call me, didn't you? So, should be calling me any minute. Hopefully he's not sleeping or anything else like that. That would be a shame. And he would probably never hear the end of it. If he didn't call me for whatever reason, I don't know what's taking so long. That's fine. Take your time, because you know you're going to get roasted anyways. So I'm just going to keep talking the talk until you call me over here. But instead, what other notes do I have until he decides to call the phone unless I don't hear anything? No, I don't hear anything. Must be a nice, pretty sight knowing he doesn't want to take the heat from me now, does he? He should. I gave him the number and everything, so let me see here. So some of the other notes that I have during the meantime is, let's see here. What do I have? So ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski announced that the Boston Celtics have hired assistant Nets head coach Ime Udoka's team's next head coach here as well. You know what? Let me call him. Let me see if he picks up his phone. Casey did. Maybe I was supposed to call him. He didn't tell me on that part. Let me see if he picks up his phone over here. Just waiting on that call. Don't even tell me he forgot. This is... Oh, God. This is...
You reached Michael Carvello. Please leave your name and number, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thanks.
Hey, Mike, did you forget to call me? I told you 11:45 and you forgot to call. So I called you just to make sure you didn't forget, or did I not check my Twitter messages or something? Because or is it you didn't want to call me because you didn't want to get that smoke from me and whatever else? You said you wanted that smoke to come on my air today, and you forgot to call. Shame on you. Oh my God. I've never seen anything like this. You know what this is like right now? This is me. I'm ready to take it on. And I'm searching for Mike, and he's just like absolutely nowhere to be seen. This is, am I just getting trolled? Or did I? Eesh. I'm just having a fun time with this. I mean, that's what I try and do for you guys basically every single week. Make it fun for y'all. I know I'm getting a little chaotic and crazy with all this right now. But, yes, it is what it is. Let me check. Here, I'm going to see my Twitter if he said anything. Because this is usually, I've never had this happen. Here, I'm just going to check just to make sure that he didn't send me a message of any sorts. Because hopefully he didn't overnap or anything. Are you kidding me? Oh, jeez. Not able to access this through my phone. I'm just like, let me see what my actual Twitter page says if I got any of those messages. Nope. None of those messages absolutely whatsoever by him. Let me just keep going for these final 10 minutes. And ladies and gentlemen, the never-ending hearing, he's going to hear it on all from me. All right. Let me get into some betting odds over here. All right, let's get into some NBA MyBookie odds. Thank goodness I wrote extra stuff for this show. You always got to be over-prepared for situations like this. With only having 4 teams remaining in these NBA playoffs, we got about 10 minutes left on today's show. So I haven't done any of these segments in a while. What are the MyBookie odds for the NBA championship? Here we go. First one, Milwaukee Bucks are the favorite, plus 105. Phoenix Suns, plus 130. Los Angeles Clippers, plus 700. And the Atlanta Hawks, plus 1,200. So those are the odds. I think the Milwaukee Bucks are the favorites. I actually think this is a correct order. One of the few times I will actually agree with Vegas. Now, it depends. The odds are different by each sports book, no matter what you use. Whether you use MyBookie, whether you use FanDuel, whether you use DraftKings, mainly use MyBookie. But I'm just saying each one and everyone's different. So, that's what I would have. Let's check out the MLB MyBookie odds. Now I'm just very curious to see how each one falls out for the World Series. Let me see if I agree here. The favorites by MyBookie, here are their top 5. Los Angeles Dodgers plus 360, I agree. San Diego Padres are the second favorites plus 650, 100% disagree. They are not the second best favorites. Number 3, the Houston Astros plus 700. I didn't realize what their record was. They are the best team in the American League this morning. Chicago White Sox plus 750. And number 5, the New York Mets at plus 50 each. I didn't realize I just got ink onto my Pittsburgh Penguins 2017 Stanley Cup playoff t-shirt, but that's okay. What do I think of these top 5 odds? Dodgers, I think they're the favorites. I would place a bet on the Mets. Astros, you could take a chance. I'm not sure about the White Sox. I would not bet the Padres. I personally think they're the most overrated team in baseball, and I have made this stance all year. Do not fall into the San Diego Padres hype. Do not do it. I am warning you. If you fall into the San Diego Padres hype, if you do bet the San Diego Padres, and if you do lose money, do not tell you I didn't warn you so. Because, ladies and gentlemen, do not bet them. I am telling you. Don't do it. So, let's see some of the other teams that may potentially be a very good bet. So, let's start with the New York Yankees. They're at a plus 1,100. No, do not bet the New York Yankees. Do not do it. How do the Yankees have such high World Series odds, despite the fact they're in 3rd or 4th in their division? The New York Yankees are one of the most consistent teams in baseball. You cannot figure out what you're getting. That is point blank. You do not know what you're getting with them. That is not a fiction, that is a fact. Let's go with the Atlanta Braves plus 3,000. I wouldn't do it. The Philadelphia Phillies plus 4,500. I wouldn't do it. Oakland Athletics plus 1,100. Okay. Toronto Blue Jays plus 3,000. No. Chicago Cubs at plus 4,000. Cody Henson, this is a bet that I would take a chance on, but do it carefully. Number 1, they are neck and neck with the Milwaukee Brewers in the National League Central. Number 2, they do have a competent offense. The problem I have with the Chicago Cubs is simply pitching. That is the problem I have with the Chicago Cubs. Tampa Bay Rays plus 1,100. As long as Tyler Glasnow's healthy and Wander Franco's becoming his own, they just called him up from the minors. The Tampa Bay Rays could very well win the American League again. They have a chance to go all the way. So maybe if they make it to the World Series a 3rd time in franchise history, the phrase as it all says, 3rd time's the charm. And maybe it's not called Tampa Bay anymore, it's Champa Bay. So we'll see if that name lived up. Remember, Tampa Bay Lightning won the Stanley Cup, Tampa Bay Rays won the World Series, Tampa Bay Buccaneers won the Super Bowl. Now it's a completely new year. Well, kinda, not really. We'll see how it is. Let's see. Do I have anything else? Boston Red Sox was 1,800. I don't think they have the pitching. They have the offense, but I don't think they have the pitching. Some of these teams are weak World Series frauds here as well. So, Eli Manning, former New York Giants quarterback Eli Manning, will be rejoining the New York Giants Organization of Business Operations and fan engagement role. Manning will have his number 10 jersey retired on Sunday, September 26th. Against the Atlanta Falcons, there was a photo the other day on New York Giants Twitter with him and co-owner John Mara. Co-owner Steve Tisch wasn't present for it. The New York Giants organization future looks bright and totally different here as well. It will be a big year for quarterback Daniel Jones, head coach Joe Judge, and general manager Dave Gettleman here as well. So, yeah, the New York Giants got big things hopefully ahead for them this year. So, that's what I think. That's what I think's gonna go along over here with them retiring number 10 jersey. And with them retiring the number 10 jersey, I'm sure that's going to be, the tickets are going to be through the roof for that special game. So, my last thing for today, MLB top 10 teams very quickly. So, number 10, I had the San Diego Padres. Number 9, Milwaukee Brewers. Number 8, the Oakland Athletics. Number 7, the Boston Red Sox. Number 6, Chicago White Sox. Number 5, the New York Mets. Number 4, Los Angeles Dodgers. Number 3, San Francisco Giants. Number 2, the Tampa Bay Rays. And number 1, the Houston Astros. So let me go through with you again one more time. Number 10, the San Diego Padres. Number 9, the Milwaukee Brewers. Number 8, the Oakland Athletics. Number 7, the Boston Red Sox. Number 6, the Chicago White Sox. Number 5, the New York Mets. Number 4, the Los Angeles Dodgers. Number 3, the San Francisco Giants. Number 2, the Tampa Bay Rays. And number 1, the Houston Astros. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm out of time here. Thanks for tuning in to Glenn's Dynamic Sports Corner. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day and your weekend here as well. I will be back on the air at the same time as Monday. More NHL NBA game recaps, a Stanley Cup Finals preview. I may have a chill hockey guest on Monday. Stay tuned, potentially for who it may be. Some more MLB and NFL news. And ladies and gentlemen, get up to $1,000 bonus with your first deposit by Bookie.ag. Promo 12 Ounce Sports. 12 Ounce Sports quenches sports thirst. We were live on Glenn's Dynamic Sports Corner. 12 Ounce Sports quenches sports thirst. And 12 Ounce Sports quenches sports thirst. And ladies and gentlemen, have a wonderful weekend, everybody.
You